Hey everybody, this is Patti Negri and welcome to the witching hour. Yep, that hour of the day when the veil is thin and magic happens. Whenever you happen to be tuning in, I have a beautiful guest for you today. We kind of get to know her together, but I've heard about her for a long time. I have followed her. So let me tell you a little bit about Ansley Lane, the spooky foodie. She too here is a local girl around town and she's an investigator. And I'm just going to bring you right in. So, hi, Ansley. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, Patty. Thank you for having me. It's great to meet you.
Yes, I know. Whatever we call this now.
I
So
know.
how, let's just start out. How did you become the spooky foodie? Is it the food like in that you chef and cook, or is it just because you hang out with ghosts in restaurants?
I just like hanging out with ghosts. I've loved the paranormal my whole life. I've always been intrigued by it. And after graduating college, I was like, I got to do something in my free time as a working actor, because auditions weren't enough for me. So I was like, what are two things I love most in this world? Food and ghosts. So I was like, wait, why don't I just go to like haunted restaurants? Like, do those exist? Is that a thing? Have people done that before? And I looked into it. Like, I've seen a few shows about haunted breweries here and there, but nothing much. So I kind of just dived in. I did a lot of research, and there's actually a ton of haunted restaurants and bars in Los Angeles.
That's fabulous. So,
Yeah.
um, why the interest in the paranormal? So often it's because people actually are gifted, and if you're an actress, you probably have a lot of creative artistic side of things. So, have you been talking to spirits your whole life, or?
So I've been seeing spirits, yes, my whole life, ever since I was a kid. I grew up in Vegas, which is super haunted everywhere. My dad's a true crime historian and he's also a mob historian. And so he would take me a lot to different old haunted places all around Nevada and Las Vegas, like Lake Mead for one, and then a ton of like the haunted hotels all over the place. And I would see things. He took me to these mines once, like these gold mines out by Mount Charleston. And the first spirit I ever saw, I was like about, I think, 7. I was walking down the mine by myself and I saw this apparition of this woman standing at the end in like this long white saloon dress. And I thought it was an actor, but she disappeared. And I went there a few more times after that and I would see her multiple times. She would show herself to me a lot. And that's kind of when I started believing in it. And I've seen and heard things in a ton of the Vegas hotels, TVs turning on, things like that, people yelling and screaming from nowhere. So I've definitely had a lot of experiences growing up, and I've always believed in it.
Good. What do you think? I agree about Vegas. I'm there a lot between with Ghost Adventures or Zach or the museum, but
Yeah,
even like I've they put us up like in the Palm, which is a nice modern hotel, and I
yep.
had the TV turning on and off. I had my shower even turn on and off, and my cell phone got completely more haunted than usual. What do you think it is? You think it's the energy in the ground, or just all the craziness Vegas was created?
I think like Vegas is crazy. Everyone's going out to have a crazy night. There's crazy things happening in those hotel rooms all the time. I think it's just like a hub for energy. And that's why I believe even the nicest hotels in Vegas have something dark about them.
Hmm, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, so, what are some of your, since I'm sitting in the middle of Hollywood, Los Angeles, what are some of your favorite LA haunted places, restaurants?
Have you been to Yamashiro up in
I,
like the hill?
yes. Oh, I live like right by there. Again, I have never done an investigation or a ghost thing there, but I think I've done a murder mystery there. I've eaten there. I've
Oh,
happy houred there. So, tell me about that one.
yeah. So they actually recently gave me a history tour of their entire property, which was insane. It was crazy. I didn't know how many things Yamashiro like was before it was a restaurant. It was a military school. It was a museum. It was a saloon slash brothel. It was so many different things. It was a zoo, and there's just so much history there, so much energy behind all of that. 600-year-old pagoda that was transferred from Japan, who they believe brought along a spirit of this woman that sings in their gardens, and they hear her all the time.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. It certainly
Yeah.
is beautiful with the whole view of the city and it built up on a hill. And I think Hollywood, there's these energy vortexes in it. I've seen them, I've felt them starting at like through Griffith Park and going all the way down to Malibu. I honestly think that that's why Hollywood is where Hollywood is, because of these energy vortex, and there's such Yamashiro in the hills. So that's pretty cool. Well, we'll have to go
It's
there one day too.
I am so down. The bridal room suite apparently has this woman that haunts it as well. I guess she was murdered on the property when it was a brothel, and you can definitely feel some sadness when you walk up there. I definitely did. It was like really heavy.
That is a big yes. I have to, I don't think I've ever been in the bridal suite there, so that is good. It is so
We'll
funny
have to
how many
go.
places have had the brothel. It's like every business, because I do it a lot of mining towns, Virginia City, Vulture City, Nevada City, Butte, and it's like I think there's a bank and a brothel. There you go.
Exactly. If it was a brothel, it's haunted. Like that's how it is.
Sex, I guess I don't know. I know, and another place, because I was talking to Rob, my producer, beforehand, and one of my favorite places too. But I haven't done an investigation there. Is Sassafras right here on
Yes.
Valiant, right? That's
And I had no idea it was haunted at all. I thought it was just like a creepy looking bar. They collect all these antiques and whatnot. But I was curious and I went, and the manager was like, "Oh, no, we're haunted. Like, come and do an investigation here. I'll tell you all the stories." They have a house in there that was transported from the South that was built in the 1800s, and an old woman passed away in it, actually. And they see her walking around like they see an old lady walking around upstairs and downstairs. Pretty creepy. And then lights get messed with all the time, sound gets messed with. It's freaky.
There's electricity. That is good. We'll just have to do like one of those guided tours throughout the town. I like it. Um,
I'm down.
okay. We have everybody want to come with us? Okay, everybody come with us. We're gonna plan an event. We're gonna plan Spooky Foodie and me and whoever else wants to go. Let's do it.
Exactly. Like a haunted bar crawl. I love doing those. I have one that I made going through Hollywood Boulevard. There's a bunch of little haunted bars all around there.
Yes, I've been in a bunch of the little haunted bars along Hollywood Boulevard. All these little things you didn't even know were there, and you've lived there in like forever and ever. And like, there's a club underground. There's a club up here, and they all have
There's
that fabulously creepy vibe.
yeah, it's crazy. It's fun though. And you know what? Every time I go through downtown, like, I mean, I feel a different energy when I go to Hollywood. Like there's two different kinds of energies. I feel like there's a vortex in downtown, but it's different than Hollywood.
I agree. Every place has its own field. And yeah, I think I mean they both have dark and they both have light. I think downtown has more dark. Hollywood has more fun, but they both
Yes.
have both.
Yeah.
I, I mean, I like the ghosts that hang off the chandeliers at the Hollywood Roosevelt and stuff like that because they do,
I
and
didn't
that's
know they did. I didn't know that they did that.
yes, they do. I've been going there, well, forever. I met my husband at the Hollywood Roosevelt. I used to do a regular show there weekly with the Cinegro. It's the club they used to have. You could walk into the big ballroom where the first Academy Awards were and feel the cold spot. I mean, you could bring any equipment at any time. Um, they, but
What?
they play against the haunted. So if you want to go there, don't tell them you want to do a haunted thing because they got rid of like the Marilyn Monroe mirror. I've got to stay in like room 923, the Montgomery Clift room, and all this stuff. But you got to be a little clandestine.
Oh my goodness.
I think they'd
I
have twice the business if they say yes, we're haunted. But what do I know?
I agree, and I want to get into that too about the Alexandria Hotel that I visited. So I went to the Alexandria Hotel. Have you ever been there?
I have. Love it.
It's so creepy in there. I got invited by the woman that is refurbishing the Valentino suite there, the Rudolph Valentino one where he used to stay. And I did a ghost investigation there. I guess I wasn't supposed to. And the owner got really, really mad at me. He did not like the fact that I was promoting that it was haunted and all this kind of stuff. But I was like, man, like it's really good business. Like you'll see. So I think his perspective is changing on it. But that was one of the craziest investigations I've ever had.
Really? Because that's one of those old, beautiful yet weird downtown, not kept up to par kind of hotels. And I do
Yeah.
think there is a crazy weird energy downtown. Again, I don't if it's the land, if it's whatever it is, it's ah.
That's how it feels to me. Like I said, driving through LA, I feel different energies throughout. I've always been sensitive to that kind of thing too. So I guess that, adds to it. Maybe some people don't notice, but I definitely do.
So I know one of the things that you wrote about in your because I have a school, I teach spirituality and paranormal and mediumship and all this stuff. But I do know that you wrote something in your bio about literally having an attachment for like 10 months from a cemetery.
Yes.
What was that?
That was like a really hard thing for me to deal with because so I went to the South with my boyfriend and his family, and we went to this really old cemetery. We thought it'd be a really good idea to do some ghost hunting in a cemetery. And that was a big mistake. His family were skeptics, but by the end of the night, they were believing in the paranormal. What was happening was we were playing Find My Grave, which is such a great idea. And we were talking to this one spirit who was answering us through this little music chord that he was playing. He kept going, da-da, like over and over again, until we kind of found his grave area, but we never actually could find it. He kept pointing to us to this area that was empty. There was nothing there. So maybe he was like a lost grave or something like that. So we ended up not being able to find him. Another 20 minutes went by and we were like, okay, we're going to leave now. Goodbye. And he goes, Donna. And so I was like, oh, no. We kind of found out through that he was like a music teacher and that kind of thing. And I went home the next day and I used the spirit box. And the first thing that came up in the spirit box was Donna. And I was like, okay, there's something wrong with the spirit box then. Nothing that happened to us was real. This is just like a little program that happens in there automatically or something. I don't know. But then we do an investigation somewhere else and we're with a medium and she's like, there is something with you. He's into music. He responds through music because he was doing it again in the spirit box. And she says, I'm seeing 6 people in a cemetery and a lost spirit. And I'm like, okay, wow. Like, so this is real. This is real. And he was with me for 10 months. We called him the Music Man. And that was also a bad thing. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to nickname him. And he made me just like really sad sometimes. He's a very lonely spirit. He attached to my energy because I'm happy. And some people have said it was almost kind of like an obsession with me or something. Just like he really liked being with me.
Right.
But I felt that every day. I would have weird thoughts. I would get into really strange music and sad music. And at the end, he was really taking my energy. So actually 2 weeks ago, I visited my friend Zachariah the Witch.
I know Zachariah well, yes.
And he helped me get rid of him. And it was a really, really heavy moment. I actually felt the point before he left. I really did. There was one thing Zachariah said, and I forget what he said right now, but it my whole body just felt different.
Good. Yeah, you can't keep them on. We talked at school, and there's lots of ways. I used to not like cemeteries, but now I love them. But they are sacred ground. There's little things that you need to follow, like leaving coins when you go in. You really have to. Find the oldest grave if you can. That's the grave keeper. There's all these old folklore, religion, belief systems along the way, and if you do that, it's the most magical place ever because it is holy and sacred ground. But you can't go there and just go trampling around and not expect something to happen. But I could teach you that in 5 minutes. So that is,
I would love a crash course on cemetery surfing. But yeah, I made a mistake. I definitely learned a lesson. I should have done the steps. I should have researched it. Definitely will for next time.
And then whenever you leave, you just really, goodbye, thank you, nothing's coming home with me. There's 1,000 different rituals to do, sigils and symbols and herbs and oils and this and that and the other thing, but you just do something. When you, okay, thank you, appreciate you, goodbye. That's it. Just like a Ouija board, just like walking out of the Cecil or walking out of the Roosevelt or walking out. You don't get to stay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just it's fine to work within your religion or belief system, work within a combination of every religion or belief system, like I do, depending on, because the more you know, then you work. Oh, that's a jinn. Oh, that's a this. So I know how to deal with that one. Oh, that's into the elemental realm. How do we deal with that? So
Yeah.
to keep learning. Um, mm, 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 mm. Now
Yeah.
I know you've also done some, again, being a Hollywood girl and being married to a musician, married to a drummer. You've had some experiences up on the Strip, right? Like with music venues, like I don't know which ones.
Oh, yeah. So I've been to the Viper
The
Room.
Roxy, the Viper.
I love the Viper Room. And it's dark. It has like that energy again about it. And they were so open when I emailed them to giving me a whole tour. They let me investigate the bottom of the like the bottom bar when you walk in. And I forget her name right now, but she's the lady that she's like the ticket lady, but she's been there for so long. She used to be friends with River Phoenix and all of that. And she was just telling me all these crazy stories about how haunted it is. And I never knew. I never knew.
Yeah. Well, what I always say is big in life, big in death. People who want to be big in music or acting or sports or anything, they're big personality people, big everything going on. They're going to be big spirit ghosts. You know, Bob the quiet banker who worked behind a little desk. That's the kind of ghost he is. I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. I'm a movie star. I'm a movie star. And even I think a lot of people who end up in like the big prisons, when because we always have to go to the scary places.
Yeah.
It's like even a lot of them, they weren't just the mild, meek bad guys or burglars or robbers. They're
It's true.
big energy, so they tend to be more entertaining.
That's so true. I got that at the Whiskey a Go Go when we went. We went with Zachariah actually, and he kept getting like this phrase in his head, like, don't touch my guitar. Like, why are you here? Like, it was very like, like, this is my turf. Like, I'm a rock star. Like, you can't come into my green room kind of energy.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I did an investigation with Zachariah, well, several months ago, and now we took over Virginia City. That was pretty cool.
I
We
saw that.
Yeah,
Yes, that
with
looks so
Corey and
cool.
Elton and Linda the Ghost Hunter, her and Zachariah were a team, and we were a team, and it was pretty fun because
What a
that place,
great series.
yeah, and that place they have brothels.
Classic.
There you go, classic. But what's funny about places like that, it depends on the era of where the most of the people were, because I do spend a lot of time, I think, because the oldest stuff on the West Coast is the mining towns. That was here first before anything else.
Right.
They have, they haven't kept up with the Me Too. Men
No.
treat women differently. Boy ghosts treat women differently. It's like, you can't touch me there. What are you doing?
Exactly.
It's like, you don't know modern etiquette. No, I guess you wouldn't, which
Have some manners. Come on.
yeah. So, that is funny. So you mentioned, we ran right by it. We're going back, that your dad worked like Vegas history and mob history and stuff. That's pretty fascinating too.
It's really cool. He used to work at the Mob Museum and he would take me to, like all the different spots, like Old Town Vegas, all of that. He was always interested in that. So I think that's why I'm super interested in this too. And I've also been getting into the mob history of downtown. I think it's really interesting to kind of keep track where they all hung out and who haunts what.
Right,
Yeah.
big personalities. So, what do you think is the scariest place you've ever been? Is there one that stands out?
The Alexandria for sure.
Okay, cool.
So there's obviously a lot of ghosts there. I could talk all day about the stories, but there is allegedly a serial killer that haunts the basement. And I went to do an investigation at the Alexandria like 4 times. So it was my 4th time where I actually really started to dive in deep with this spirit. I believe it was the serial killer, but he was just whoever it was, he was dark in general, did not like women, would get really frustrated. The time before that, he wouldn't tell me his name. He called himself Mr. Tough Guy. And that's what he wanted me to refer him as. And so I would say that. The next time I went, I was like, where's Mr. Tough Guy? And then he finally gave me his name. I forget what it was right now, but it's on my YouTube. And he threatened me with a shotgun, a lot of different things. It's a very, very heavy Estes method. And I've never had an experience with a spirit that strong and that not evil, like in a demonic way, just like he's just not a good person. And you could feel that heaviness in the room. And luckily, I mean, he didn't attach to me. I guess he just likes being there. But it was a crazy experience. And it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
That's awesome. I do love it. I'm not a techie person because it's just I'm my best tech, a pair of dowsing rods, but I do like the Estes method. I love the Estes method. And if for anybody who doesn't know, that is when you have soundproof, but you're just hearing through a spirit box the sounds that come out. Another person who is asking questions, but you can't hear them, and it's amazing how the answers match up. I mean, insanely amazing. And I just had him on last week. Mike Del Coro and Eric, Mike developed this thing called the Delco experiment.
I've heard about that.
Oh my God, Ansley! It's the thing, but you have red flashing lights in your eyes, like goggles, and it turns it into this like totally like 3-dimensional psychedelic. You see through them, but it's blank. You don't really see through them, but you see through them, and walls melt and spirits come out. And Delco experiment. They're making them now. They're not expensive. It takes it to a whole other level.
I need that.
The flashing red light. Yeah.
I need that. You're getting me so excited. Okay, I'm gonna go on eBay or wherever you get those.
Yeah. Mike Del Coro. He's last week's show. Cool. Yeah, I can't. I have some, so I will bring them if we go do something.
I'm down. We should bring them on our Haunted Hollywood Sassafras.
Yes, our Haunted Hollywood Fast Track touring of the world. We started talking about, because we forewarned you that Belle, my little brunette right back here, my haunted doll, might wiggle around. So we started talking dolls, and you said you had some as well. Yeah. I'm loving the popularity of haunted dolls right now. I've never seen so many, grown women, grown men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s talking about their doll collection. Makes me so happy.
It's great. I love that they're getting in touch with that side,
Yeah. And their haunted doll. Again, I'm a doll collector, so I have hundreds of dolls, but not that many haunted ones. You have to keep them in line. No kids, only a few haunted dolls. But she moves around. So what do you have as a way of haunted dolls? I know you ran over and got some.
I know, right? I got this one from an antique store, and I'm not really sure about him yet, but he moves his legs a lot. Like he sits, and I've seen his legs like move like this, and I've heard it like clicking. That's when I know. And then I turn around, I'm like, "What are you doing over there, sir?"
And for those of you on audio, it's a clown doll. Just saying. I'm not a clown. It's a clown doll, so of course it's going to do that. It's one of those loose-legged clown doll. Very cute, though. Very cute.
He's adorable. I love him. I love clowns. Very unpopular opinion, but I do love clowns.
I know. Well, everybody wants to go to the Clown Motel. Have you ever been there?
No, I've been wanting to go so bad.
I think I want to go. I mean, I want to go, but I'm going to hate it. But I want to go.
We should go. Okay, they have a lot of dolls there.
I know. Yes, they have regular dolls too. So, my Belle, she moves around. She stares at people. Everyone could tell her mood. Her eyes open and close. The doll next to her that you can't even see very much, actually, Cheryl. We have down there in the corner, just above that. We have video of me teaching one of my classes at the school, and literally, I was looking into the camera, just bah, 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 my chatter. She was like right here. I'm talking. Both my hands are invisible, and she went. And the whole class caught it. I didn't catch it. I tried to debunk it every which way I could. Both my hands were in view. There was no one else in my house. My dog is a dachshund, cannot reach that high. And I'm like, but she's not haunted. She's not haunted. She's not haunted. And I blew up the video and she's not. Literally, an orb flew out of the bookcase into the doll, moved the doll, and came out of the doll.
So something just likes going in and out.
Yeah, something's going in and out. I actually just taught a class on it yesterday. So, so do you use, when you do investigations, are you a real techie person? Do you use like trigger objects or bears and things like that?
I don't have the bears. I have like a REM pod. I mainly have been loving the Estes method. Like that's the thing that I've been using the most because I have a great team and they like to be the vessel and I like asking questions. And I've honestly gotten the best results from doing that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. I just got a little tiny bear at Ventura. This is really cute because I bought one. I had bought one, like one of the known name brands, and it never worked once. And I know there were ghosts because everything else went off, K2s, REM pods, but it was just a faulty bear. But this little guy, and really inexpensive. And then I just got her and she just worked. She's like a handmade doll and she's a trigger object. And I was doing a seance the other night and my friend asked what she could do for this, like, of health issue she had, and the doll, blah, 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 blah. And literally the spirit box said pray. And this girl had a Catholic background. I'm like, oh, this is good. Now I need a nun on my investigation.
I love that nun. I want one.
And yeah, I could look it up. They're a paranormal group that I don't know where they are. If they were out of Arizona or Ventura.
Yeah.
I don't, but I could find it, I think. But yeah, they made really good. I was going to buy a REM pod, but it was their display metal. So much less expensive and handmade and nice.
Yeah. Some of the ghost equipment is just so expensive. I can't even believe it.
Yeah, Rob, I think, just said PacificCoastParacon.com, which is where I just was. If you go to PacificCoastParacon.com, it's a blank, blank, blank. I think it's a 3-letter group paranormal team.
Cool.
Yeah, but they invent really cool looking everything from, and they had like Raggedy Ann dolls that looked like an Annabelle. They had little. I like little because I carry too much stuff. So
I do too.
So
I'm a fan of little dolls. Okay, I'm gonna stalk this Paracon site now.
I know it is good, and if you don't find it, I swear to gosh, it's 3-letter paranormal, something like that. And they're a team, but they also invent, and they had all sorts of fun stuff. And they cleaned up because I was speaking on the stage at the time. Towards the end, I was the last speaker, and by the time I got off stage, they were all packed up. I'm like, oh no, my room.
No.
It was beautiful. It had a pentacle on it, wood box, and like I like anything that looks more natural or old fashioned. It didn't look old fashioned, but it was wood instead of plastic. And
yeah, I love that kind of stuff. So are the spirits like in your house attached to your dolls? Are they like nice? Like, do you know their names?
Oh, I will not have bad spirits in. Yes. Belle of Gun is my main one haunted doll. I don't keep too much more. Again, it's just like one dog, one cat, one ghost. But I do have a spirit who lives here, who came with the house. Her name is Adrian. She was an artist. She lived in the house from 1960s until the late 1990s. Yeah. She died. She did not die in the house, but she came with the house. My husband and I moved in 2001. And all her art was there that she had painted, and her macrame, that she was a hippie in the 60s and a disco queen in the 70s, and whatever it was, you were in the 80s. And I have her everything. My house is filled with her artwork, her tie-dye, her macrame, her fine art, and she came with it. We even got married in the backyard. We did a big garden wedding, and I love roses. They're my favorite flower. So she was like shooting roses out of my bouquet. And all the neighbors who had known her for years are going, "Oh, that's Adrienne. She loved roses. She sang La Vie en Rose." I'm like, "Hi, Adrienne." So she came to the house, and she's really protective. She likes most everybody. She likes to be recognized. She got mad at us once. My husband and I had a flood and we had to move out, and then construction worker were here.
Yeah.
She literally took a picture of us from over the bed, out of the frame, just took it out. It was sealed up. No way to explain it. It's like, okay, we're sorry. We had to move out. It was a flood. But the funniest one with her, oh my God, because she was in her 90s when she passed, but I think she was a young and wild one in her youth. I was filming a French TV show here. He's a dear friend now, Monsieur Poulpe. He's a comedian. He's a French comedian, actor. And we filmed at the Roosevelt. We filmed here. We did seances here. We were all over the place. She fell in love with him. He's like, because the whole crew was speaking French. I don't speak French. He was like, he's this cute little goofy actor guy. Oh my God. She followed us. We spent the night at the Roosevelt, and because he wanted to talk to Marilyn Monroe, but Adrienne wouldn't leave him alone. It was great.
My goodness. She likes French dudes.
She likes French dudes. She's French. I think she had 6 husbands or something. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
love that for her.
She is really protective, but that's it. Again, most of my dolls are not haunted. You know, I could teach somebody how to haunt one, because I worry all the fake haunted dolls. I don't worry, but people are wasting money on certain eBay sellers and stuff. It's like
they can be high in price too.
Yeah. And I know people who bought them. It's like, there's no ghost in here. I mean, they might tell you how to bring one in, but you know, you can't go to Target, buy a ghost, put on a spooky outfit and say it's haunted. And that seller's had 48 other exact same haunted doll. It's just a little fishy.
Yes.
I
agree.
I think you could find a lot more at thrift stores and antique stores.
Definitely. And that's where I go.
Yeah, that's where I go. And if you're intuitive at all, which if you're interested in the paranormal, you probably are intuitive, you're going to be able to tell which ones have some activity.
I do. I have a hard time at antique stores too. I have to cleanse myself when I'm.
You have to cleanse, you have to clear, you have to ward. Yep. So that's cool. So what do you have coming up? Anything good coming up that we need to know about? Or tell it.
Oh, I have a cocktail that I made at the Sassafras. They have it there now. It's a signature cocktail. It is dedicated to their resident ghost, the lady of the saloon. It's like this black and bubbly cocktail. We'll have to try it together. It's amazing. That's the newest thing that's been going on. Nothing
that's pretty
else
cool to have your own cocktail for a ghost. That's cool. Ansley, that is cool.
It's cool.
So how do people find you? If everybody now is intrigued with you as I am, and how do they find you on social media, website, where you're going to be?
So I have a TikTok, which is @SpookyFoodie. My Instagram is @SpookyFoodieOfficial. And then I just started my YouTube channel, and that is just Spooky Foodie.
Okay, you guys check her out, like, follow, do all those fabulous things. And then we'll go out. We will have some signature cocktails, talk to ghosts, and then I'll have you come back on and we'll talk about it.
That sounds fantastic to me.
I know. So, and maybe all you guys out there in the Southern California area will all do an event.
Maybe Adrienne will come.
Maybe Adrienne, especially if we bite men.
I love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ansley, the Spooky Foodie. Thanks for coming to the Witching Hour.
Thank you, Patti. Thank you for having me.